Currently,
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
To hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. Hello and welcome to a Tuesday edition of the radio broadcast. And, of course, the live stream. We live stream, too. It's huge. It's gigantic. It's enormous. Things I never heard from my wife. Okay, so we've got a lot of things to get to. Did you see Abdul El Sayed, Sim Salabim Al Muhammad, Jamal Warner last night talking to Jesse Waters? We'll share a little bit of that later in the show. I didn't think that Jesse hit him hard enough. I was watching my friend Tony Shaver. He thought it was a masterful interview, a la Bill O'Reilly. But we'll share a little bit of that very shortly on the show. But there is one thing for certain. He is a radical Islamist, regardless of what he likes to say on the air and everything. He is also a Democrat socialist. There's no doubt about it. He wants to, control, take over businesses, take over the control, which, the government should never do because they don't know how to build a damn thing. They don't know how to successfully implement anything. That's why most of the departments of the federal government are largely corrupt in many ways and also do not perform as well as the private sector. So there is that. He is a full-blown Democrat socialist, and he's not going to win in the state of Michigan. There you go. I just said it. I shouldn't say that. And dipwad Angie Nixon ain't going to win down there in Florida, and whoever that idiot who replaced Graham Plattner is not going to win in Maine. And then and who else? What else we got here? What was the other one that we got here in here? Oh yeah, in Tallarico, by the way. Everybody's saying, oh, James Tallarico's out in front by 4 of Ken Paxton. No, he's not. That's not true. All of the polls generally, for as long as you and I have been around, during the summer, polls come out, and Republicans are always behind, and generally, in many of the races, most of the time that they're way ahead, they are either close for race or Republicans end up winning. So we're kind of on to that. And then I saw the odds now of Tallarico losing are beginning to climb pretty substantially because he's a vegan who believes God is non-binary. Now, if you're just tuning in for the very first time, I just listen, or maybe just kind of separate yourself from anything he said and just listen to what I'm saying about him for the first time, okay? Running for statewide office, Texas, vegan, non-binary, he believes God is non-binary, has said there are 6 sexes, believes in transgenderizing children surgically, among other things, had to rent a pickup truck for an ad, met his girlfriend in a gay bar. Generally, most don't. I'm just saying, you usually go to the... Do I need to explain this? Sure. And he's going to win in the state of Texas. I'm doubting it. So there's 4 Senate races that I'm looking at going, really? Democrats, you're going to take over? Really? And then, of course, there's the DSA takeover of the Democrat Party. This after Kamala Harris leaned way left in her run for president. They spent $1.5 billion to try to sell you and I a crap sandwich without the bread. I laughed out loud when they named her the candidate, and she summarily lost both houses. She lost the popular vote and the Electoral College. And the reason why I have these feelings is because I refuse to live in fear and cowering, and I am prepared to overwhelm the left with joy and faith and patriotism. And I believe in those who still believe in the American dream. There are still more of us than there are of these ungrateful adult children who are in... That was really loud. Wow, I did not expect that. The ingrateful children of the DSA who have never had jobs, who've never built anything, have never made anything, trying to tell us they're going to take over our country. I don't think it's going to happen. You know why? Because it's not going to happen. In the meantime, let's start off with some good news.
We love to win. Winning, so much winning. It's lots of winning.
Lots of winning.
It's oh so good.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You know, it's kind of amazing because the last few weeks, in fact, maybe the last month, well, what's happened to the No Kings protesters? I haven't been seeing them on the bridges across the highways up 95 as I go to Baltimore. Normally you see a bunch of morons out there. When I first moved to the D.C. area, I'd go down to an area called King Street in Old Town Alexandria, and there were always a bunch of, a couple of adults and a bunch of college students standing there and hands off Iran and saying stupid crap like that. Or when I was sitting having a meal, a bunch of morons wearing kaifas saying from the river to the sea. I confronted both parties, by the way. Haven't seen as much of that lately. Have you noticed that? I don't know. Maybe it's getting wearing a little bit thin when you consider some of the good things that are happening in the United States of America. I told you we would have to overcome a vacuum of reporting of good news. No good news from any of the letter networks. No good news from the Democrats. The Democrats literally cheering for the IRGC and the Ayatollah from day one with regard to this Operation Epic Fury and now Operation Economic Fury or whatever we're calling it. And we've had to deal with 97% negative coverage of Trump and us for 10 years. And maybe going into the second half of Trump's second term. Maybe it's just their criticism, their negativism, their awfulness is just becoming blah, blah, blah. Because we're sick and tired of living in darkness. Why would we ever want to invest in people who are so profoundly unhappy, who hate America? And the rest of us who are battle-hardened, not battle-weary, quite honestly, are ready to just finish these pieces of crap off. There you go. Honestly, just finish them off. The Democrat Party does not have a platform. The Democrat Party does not have a positive message. They literally for 10 years have just been shrieking that Donald Trump is a Nazi, Donald Trump is a white supremacist, Donald Trump is this, Donald Trump is that, and it hasn't worked. None of us have left the movement. Did you hear, though, in Michigan, 27% of those people who voted for, what's her name, the other candidate, not Syed, I always forget her name. But anyway, 27% of her voters are going to vote for Mike Rogers. That is 1/4 of the Democrat voters who voted in the primaries this year are going to vote for Mike Rogers. That's gigantic. That goes to show you that this DSA is nothing more than AstroTurf, as organic as a Twinkie, and they are not organic, by the way. I think I have a Twinkie in my hope chest from college. No, I don't actually still have a hope. I never did actually have a hope chest, actually. Lost hopes and dreams. I've got one of those. It's going to be a big, huge trunk of lost hopes and dreams. It's packed. I add to it every year. I had to sit on it to lock it the other day. It was just absolutely amazing. But here's some good news, and this is crazy because CNN, even though they were down, remember when they were doing the live shot from the reflecting pool when people were slicing and dicing the reflecting pool lining and pulling it up? Yeah, they were. And CNN was down there doing a live shot about the reflecting pool lining. They did nothing like this when Barack Obama opened the reflecting pool after a $33 million one-year renovation where giant blooms of algae were growing like the kelp forests off of the Pacific coast. They didn't do anything of that. They didn't do anything of that. But they had to go down because the Grand Prix, the American 250 Grand Prix over the weekend was so absolutely kick-ass.
Overall, it looked like a real success. Everybody we talked to seemingly had a great time.
This is CNN.
Here are some perspectives from some of the people who were here for the preliminaries yesterday and for the main race today, just about what the fan experience was like for them.
What the fan?
I'm here with Liz Eustace and Chris Richardson, race fans here. You've been to several races, you said. Okay. Liz, you have not? Okay.
You did normally from a CNN reporting. You've been to several races. How much did this one suck compared to those? He didn't say that.
Got to get your impression. First time, how do you like it?
I saw the warm-up, and it was so cool. I was kind of like, oh, they're just cars running, but the speed they're going, it was so freaking cool, and I got goosebumps, and I got all shaky. It was really cool.
Now, you're a veteran, Chris. You've been to some of these races. What do you think, what stands out to you about this particular one?
And why do you hate Donald Trump?
It's a road course, and that's always fun. You know, it's a road course on my own home roads. I definitely love that, and just having a point of reference for how fast they're going on these city streets is insane.
So all told, this whole thing was in the works for actually about a year.
Yeah.
The organizer, Bud Denker, the president of Penske Racing, had this as a brainchild starting last summer. He ran into some bureaucracy regarding his plan to put some of this track right by the Capitol and on
really? Bureaucracy at D.C.?
Capitol grounds. He ran into so much bureaucracy and partisanship on Capitol Hill that he was almost ready to scrap this whole race, but he was convinced to maintain the race, to try to just redesign the course somehow. So he brought the...
And honestly, you had the MMA fight, which was friggin' unbelievably cool. The Democrats screeched and yelled about it and caterwauled about it and all that crap. Then they had the state fair, all of the state fairs. 9 of the Democrat-run states decided they were not proud enough of their state and its people to be represented because Donald Trump was putting it on in the 250th anniversary of our birth. Are you out of your friggin' mind? Okay, sure, whatever. That was stupid. And then, of course, we had this glorious Grand Prix race, and now the cool just got too cool for anyone to be able to ignore. And for those who aren't cool enough, that's fine. Go ahead and stay home, sit down, and shut up. And then the July the 4th thing. We forgot about the July the 4th thing, where in Washington D.C. they fired off more mortars, fireworks than any time in history. Nearly 850,000 of them. Meanwhile, you've got non-binary femboys and their crazy cat lady girls telling us that God doesn't exist, that they need to get rid of the border, need to get rid of the police, need to get rid of prisons, need to socialize medicine. Yeah, it's not going to work. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. high sugar loaf.
WCBM.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
At the bottom of the hour, we have a very special guest, a gentleman who I owe a lot to after many years of broadcasting, and a lot of the times in broadcasting, you are typecast by those in charge. I had been doing music radio for a number of years, over 20 years of my life, and I was relieved of my job at a radio station called Mix 107.3 in 2013. My heart had always been in talk radio, and I could not get a program director to say, "Oh yeah, Rob Carson, he's just a music jock." They all said that about me, and could not get them to listen to me and to give me a shot in talk radio. I know you're listening now. You're like, how the hell is that possible? Yeah, it was possible. It was possible. It was possible. Anyway, I did finally nab a job at a small station in Kansas City that nobody was paying any attention to at the time, and I was given a 3-year deal. They fired me 2 years into it. That was my first job in talk radio. Chris Ruddy was the man who found me because I had to sell cars for a living. And he called me one Sunday because I had been bugging him, sending him videos of a podcast that I was doing, a video podcast. This was at the beginning of video podcasting when no one else was doing it on your desktop. Everybody was doing Facebook Live on a phone. I figured out how to do it on a desktop with 2 cameras, a green screen, and the whole deal. And Chris Ruddy called me and said, "Rob, where have you been?" And I said, "In an abusive relationship with radio for 20 years. And he said, "I'm going to make you a star." He's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. And I'm going to tell you, when you talk about someone who's tenacious, someone who has suffered the slings and arrows of the leftist media, of the Global Engagement Center, attempting to take down our advertisers and whatnot. He is battle-hardened as well. And Chris Ruddy, the CEO of Newsmax, joins us at the bottom of the hour. This is George Papadopoulos. Had a chance to meet him a couple years ago at a Newsmax Christmas party, talking about Donald Trump hitting Iran where it hurts, and that is in the economy.
What really is happening currently is that the full weight of American resolve is coming down extremely hard on Iran. After 6 months of absolutely devastating military blows to the Iranian military, to their infrastructure, and to their once burgeoning, I should say, nuclear proliferation program, the United States has now waged the greatest financial offensive against an adversary in modern American history.
Yes, and they are teetering, by the way. I was watching Stephen Turley last night talking about this, and they are definitely teetering, and I am keeping my fingers crossed for the collapse of the IRGC, for the end of the Ayatollahs, and for freedom for Iran. Here's Jim Gossett as the Prezi on the Rob Carson Show.
Economic D-Day, Iran will see.
Yeah, baby. Come on, freedom.
We will put great obstacles in their way.
And we have. Thank you very much.
We're gonna cripple their economy. It's gonna be a dark, dark, dark Iranian day. If you trade with Iran, we're warning you. We'll cut out your access to us as well.
Come on.
Don't want to see the pain that we'll inflict. Yes, it will be pure living hell.
Wow, nice. Nice, James.
You're gonna see your deficits.
Man, he did some nice low notes there. Jim Gossett, ladies and gentlemen. Go to patreon.com. Jim Gossett Comedy. Pardon me one moment there. Just had my factor meal for the day. Factor meal. I'm wondering if my energy's a little low today. I know you can't really tell. And if this is low energy, what the hell is high energy? But I'm wondering if it's getting rid of the carbs and the sugar. I don't know, whatever, anyway. But feeling good. Here's some interesting things from Kash Patel. You know, I mentioned earlier that CNN had to do a positive report on the Grand Prix race in Washington D.C. because it was so kick-ass. This on the heels of a 250th anniversary of America, the glorious 4th of July celebration, the UFC fight on Capitol grounds, the ungodly coolness of all of it, and of course the closed border, and then all the crime that's going down and stuff. I told you we'd have to overcome a vacuum of reporting of good news. Murder rate down 20%. It's safe to go out in Washington D.C. even in Anacostia. Same goes with Memphis. Same goes with New Orleans, where Donald Trump has sent out National Guard, FBI all over the country. Massive drops in crime around the country, despite Democrats standing at schoolhouse doors in Illinois, just like they used to do in the 60s. 53,000 plus violent crime arrests. 9 of the 10 FBI most wanted arrested. 31,000 plus criminal enterprise arrests, 3,200 kilograms of fentanyl seized, 11,000 child victims located, 5,000 child predators and traffickers arrested, 4,200 FTO-related arrests, 55 foreign nationalist terrorist organizations dismantled, 130-plus counterintelligence arrests, 300 cyber arrests, 182 million in cyber criminal funds seized. We moved resources out of D.C. back into the field. We committed the Bureau to facts over politics, accountability over excuses, and one standard of justice. This according to Kash Patel of the FBI. That's how good things are happening. Center for Disease Control and Prevention put defensive gun use figures back on their website and shows that upwards of 2.5 million such uses in a year. It was deleted in 22 when Joe Biden was the president because, guns bad, Second Amendment bad. Estimates of defensive gun use vary depending on questions asked, but they have added them to the list, up to 2.5 million defensive gun uses each year. That means the Second Amendment, saving lives, stopping crime. That's what it's all about. Thank you very much. Joining us on the other side of the break, the CEO of Newsmax, Mr. Chris Ruddy. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for GhostBed. You may not remember every time you toss, turn, or wake up hot, but your body does. That's why you wake up tired before the day even starts. That's why I got a GhostBed, the best bed in the history of mankind. GhostBed is engineered to help reduce the reasons your sleep gets interrupted. GhostBed is designed to relieve pressure, help regulate temperature, support your body. Cooling technology built into every mattress and made in the USA. With GhostBed's 101 night trial, you can try it at home because the real test of a mattress is how you feel in the morning. If you're waking up sore or tired before the day even starts, check out GhostBed. For a limited time during GhostBed's Labor Day sale, they're offering my audience an extra 10% off their lowest prices of the season. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. guys, it's Carson. You know, when it comes to supplements, two things matter most. A, that it works, and B, that you can trust it. We hear from people every single day whose lives have changed, including mine, and we'd like you to hear a few of their stories. Chris has spent years of doing physical work, leaving his feet sore at the end of the day. After starting Relief Factor, he felt so good, he did something he'd never done before. He ran a half marathon. Now he tells all his friends about Relief Factor. I can still move furniture, I can still ride my mountain bike, I can still lift heavy weights, and Relief Factor makes all of those tasks pain-free for me. 3 weeks for just $17.76. Simply go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. We hope you'll soon be sharing your story with us too. Again, ReliefFactor.com or 800-4RELIEF. It is a Tuesday edition of the Rob Carson Show, a gentleman I have not spoken to in a few months. A gentleman who gave me an opportunity at a glorious network. It's called Newsmax, in case you haven't heard about it, and you hear about it every day on this national radio show and live stream. The CEO of Newsmax, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Ruddy. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing great, and I'm even better than I'm on your show today.
It is a pleasure having you on. I know that Newsmax had a great last quarter, and a lot of amazing things are happening not only for the network but also the evolution of the industry as a whole. How's Newsmax doing right now? It looks like things are really picking up some momentum.
Well, we're excited. You know, we went public last year on the New York Stock Exchange. We're now Newsmax is listed and trading, and we always tell people if you want to be part of us, you can join the Newsmax News Revolution, and many people have. We've had a very successful, I think, year over year. We just announced our second quarter results, which showed profits.
Nice.
And the market has reacted very nicely to what we're doing. You know, we're giving the American people, Rob, and your show is part of that, the alternative voice. They're just not getting it from the rest of the media. So the media has gone so far left.
Yes.
They're making us into a big business because people, half the country wants to hear the other side of the story they're not getting.
Well, you know, I was mentioning earlier, there's so much good news happening right now. The clothing of the southern border. We've had, just over the weekend, has marvelous Grand Prix race in Washington, D.C. You had the MMA fight. You had all this. You had the reflecting pool. And all that CNN could do was
postpartum psychosis.
Was report about maybe a piece of the reflecting pool is coming up, and it's all we've had to operate in a vacuum of bad news 97% of the time. And don't you suppose maybe people are just sick and tired of just being fed bad news all the time, even though there's good things happening?
It's a very intimate way to kill somebody.
I think the media has an agenda. They want to really bring home these questions about the war, whatever, gas prices, so that they get people angry with the president of the Republican Party. And frankly, it's working, right? And they still dominate. You know, even most of you think the internet gives a lot of diversity. It's still largely controlled by the left. All the big internet companies are. AI is even getting increasingly controlled. So, you know, we tell the story. The president has, you know, a pretty remarkable story. Just start with how he secured the border just by showing up at the White House overnight.
Yeah.
The border became secure. Just the massive tax cuts he gave in the Big Beautiful Bill, and the Trump accounts that he did, the Trump prescription drugs, the lowest, the first time in like ever that drug prices have actually gone down. So you do these things. He's got a pretty good story. But, you know, there are other problems, the Biden hangover, and then the war. Look, I'm fully supportive of the president of the war. I think he had to do it, and Iran is a rogue actor. But it's going to take a little time. There's a little pain at the gas pumps, and that is, the Democrats are using that for full advantage.
Yeah, But I've never seen this before, Chris. When you look at Desert Storm, Desert Shield, all of this, toward George Bush's administration, it took months for Democrats to start bemoaning the effort and demeaning the troops. It took day one for Chris Murphy, when the Ayatollah was killed, to immediately declare that it was a failure. I've never seen anything like that, and I think that is going to bite the Democrats in the rear end, particularly with those who are in the military.
Well, I think the people see through it, but I think there's a lot of anger now, and the jobs and the economy issues are driving a lot of this. The president inherited a mess when he came in. Biden, you had a war in Ukraine, you had a runaway spending, you had inflation that had wiped out about 25% of people's purchasing power. You can't return that. The president's been president for not even 2 years. Yeah. It's really a year and a half. Look what he's done. I mean, it's been an amazing thing. A lot of the prices have stabilized, like eggs have gone down in half price.
Yes.
So there have been things. I think the one failure was out of his control, which is lowering the interest rates.
Yes.
And they're still way too high. Yeah. 10-year rates are 5% plus. 4%, is the normal Fed rate now. If it was at 2%, I think there wouldn't be any problem. The Republicans would be doing well.
Yeah.
But they kept it high.
Yeah.
A Federal Reserve that opposed Trump kept it high, and they're crushing him. And we're seeing it now. And there's no reason that rate should be that high. And so it's impacting mortgages. Rates are at the highest they've been in recent times, and that's all hurting the economy. And now the Senate, I'm fearful, Rob, that we could lose the Senate.
Yeah, I'm more optimistic with regard to the Senate. I think that I think we have an outstanding chance of winning in Wisconsin, in Florida. Certainly, it might be a little tighter in Maine, but I actually feel optimistic about this because the DSA. Listen, I think the DSA is an inorganic movement. I think it's bought and paid for like no kings. I think that the numbers are small, and I don't think it's going to play on a national basis. And also they tried to take the country left with Kamala Harris, spent $1.5 billion and did a face plant, losing both houses, the popular vote and the electoral college. So I'm a little bit more optimistic. I want to ask you though about the DSA and the Democrat Party allowing them into the tent. Do you believe they will take over the Democrat Party and we will have two parties, one MAGA and one essentially socialist communist?
I think they essentially, for purposes, really control and dominate and set the agenda now for the Democratic Party.
Yes.
I don't think most Democrats are DSA yet, but I think they're growing. The Bernie Sanders wing of the party sets the agenda for the whole party. It's all their issues, all their talking points. Look at what happened during the Biden years, the woke agenda. Mm-hmm. I mean, follow the science was there's two biological genders, right? They got the world believing there's 14.
I know.
I mean, it's insane. But they were able to do it. They had that much power on so many issues. They opened the border. 15 million people just walked across.
How was it being the head of Newsmax with Joe Biden in office? Obviously, at the Global Engagement Center, going after conservative media, advertisers, and whatnot. Have things eased up on that front? And how difficult was it with the amount of censorship and demonization of conservative media that happened when Biden was the president?
Well, it was really terrible. It was a threat to democracy. Unfortunately, a lot of it's continuing. A lot of these companies are still engaged in the old form of censorship, the Wikipedias, the online search engines. They're all still doing a lot of the same tricks. Not a lot much has changed.
Yeah.
Frankly, it has not been a priority of the Trump administration to fix a lot of it, which is disappointing. And then, as you know, I've criticized the Trump administration and especially Brendan Carr. He's now allowing the massive consolidation of the TV broadcast industry.
Yes.
These are almost entirely all liberal. Right now you have like 7-8 companies that own most of the TV stations. He wants it only to be 2.
Unbelievable.
He claims that'll increase competition. Okay, how do you get to that conclusion?
Yeah.
And then it's going to allow them to control the narrative in local news. They don't control that now completely.
Unbelievable.
And he says, Brendan says, oh, well, big tech can go 100% across the country. Well, there's the big tech. So the answer to defeating liberal big tech is to help liberal broadcast TV?
Yeah.
I mean, we just don't need this consolidation. Disappointing, but we have gone into legal action against the FCC. We're going to continue that. There's a lot of things we're doing, but Newsmax, we're consistent conservatives, frankly.
Amen.
We've been doing that. I started in 1998. We're now on every cable system. You can watch the Newsmax channel, including your weekend show.
Yes.
We're on the streaming channel, Newsmax 2, on every system, Roku, Samsung, Vizio. Just look us up in your smart button there.
Chris, can we take a break and come back? Because I'd like to talk a little bit more about this consolidation, and then also.
I am gonna. I can't. But let's just plan next week for me to come on.
Well, listen, I appreciate you.
I just want to suggest everybody download the Newsmax app on your smartphone or iPhone. You can tune in to us, watch Rob anywhere in the world.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity, and by the way, thank you for inviting me into the Newsmax facility here in Washington, D.C. It's a real honor to be in the building, sir.
Well, we're sending you down in a scuba outfit to go down to the reflecting pool.
All right, very good.
I need to check who did the damage.
I'm going to do it.
You to be your... All right. Bye, Rob.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. That is Chris Ruddy, the CEO of Newsmax. We'll have to get him on next week. I have many more questions I want to answer, but an amazing conversation, an amazing man. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
WCBM.com.
I want to thank Chris Ruddy for joining me today on the show. You know, it is, for as long as I've been in broadcasting, and I've been in broadcasting professionally since 1989, and that's when I began writing for Rush Limbaugh. And it has been, it is not an easy row to hoe to be a conservative broadcast affiliate. It has been terrible. Rush Limbaugh came around, and for 30-plus years of his career, they dogged him. They went after his sponsors. They tried to destroy him time and time again. They would go after his sponsors. They would shut down his ability to make money. When he tried to buy an NFL franchise, he wanted to buy the St. Louis Rams. They shut him down from being able to live the American dream. He wanted to own an NFL franchise. And the same goes with Newsmax. Every single day suffering some sort of sling and arrow, some sort of attack, some sort of campaign to boycott advertisers, etc. Meanwhile, you ever notice, you can have the idiot Jimmy Kimmel on television, and look, there's Procter & Gamble proudly sponsors the leftist bullcrap of Jimmy Kimmel. Have you ever noticed that you don't see advertisers like General Motors or Ford Motor Company or most name brands on Newsmax or Fox News or any other conservative outlet? It's because we're being C-blocked. And it is utterly ridiculous. Do we not buy Ford F-150s? Do we not drive Ford Broncos like me? Of course we do. We're the greatest consumers in the world as conservatives. But when it comes to conservative media, we are not allowed to succeed like the networks, and those days are going to come to an end. It's been 37 years that I've witnessed this frickin' nonsense, and I'm really quite done with it. There are amazing things happening in broadcasting. Right now, we are on the cutting edge of this. What I do right now, if you are listening to this and if you are streaming this, what I am doing right now took me 10 years to get here. Literally in 2015, when I was fired from radio, I went downstairs, I built a studio, and began doing talk radio via phone line called an ISDN to big radio stations around the country, WHO Des Moines, KFAB Omaha, KHOW Denver, all of the big WLS in Chicago, the whole deal. And then I started doing live streaming on Facebook. I had 2 cameras. It looked really rough. If you go see some of it, it was real rough. I was still drinking at the time. And then most recently, I began in Kansas City and then ultimately moved here to Washington, D.C., where we are now joining the likes of Benny Johnson, joining the likes of Victor Davis Hanson, joining the likes of Glenn Beck, who's a real leader in all of this, and reaching people in ways that the radicals on the left, the big networks cannot touch us. We do, however, still need to concern ourselves with consolidation. I am hoping that Brendan Carr of the FCC and maybe the President of the United States heard the hue and cry of Mr. Chris Ruddy just a few minutes ago concerning making all of the television broadcast networks essentially run by 2 entities. They did it with radio starting in 1998, and they nearly killed it. In fact, they did kill music radio. So there is that. Before I end this segment, I will tell you this. Thank you for watching and listening. Get a Newsmax Plus membership. Download the Newsmax app, because I will tell you, of all of the venues that are out there, there are none who have fought harder for truth and conservatism and this president and this country than Newsmax. Our anchors are unbending. They do not change their stripes. And I know that you know me. I know you trust me. Newsmax gave me this opportunity, so I hope that you will return that favor. Download the Newsmax app. Follow Newsmax on all social media. Subscribe to Newsmax Plus. And help us out, because great things are happening and even bigger things are coming. You have no idea. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
Here's a real life story that affects 50% of all of us out there. It's called divorce. If you've gotten
Hello, Michael Ham. How are you? Hello, you crazy people on Facebook like Vicky Stevens and James Coate. Who's a troll? Who's a troll? Do we have a troll? I'm going to find the troll and I'm going to get rid of the troll. Oh, okay. Hold on a second. It's Dan Sawyer. He says Jelly Hunter has a Walls 2028 flag on his house, probably a gay pride flag too. Dan, you've just lost your position to ever be on this chat again, and I'm hiding your comment. Kiss my butt. We have no time for your nonsense. Don't come here and insult my great chat room friends. Screw you. Go join some, I don't know, animal sacrifice for Satan group, whatever you Democrat socialists like to do. Unicron, I will not pay Newsmax membership. It should be free or I don't need it. No, not at all. You're wrong, because you see there are a million ways we need to make revenue, since we are many times boycotted, and there are many instruments like the Global Engagement Center that take away our listeners and our viewers. So, Unicron, you are absolutely wrong. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine with you. Your sugar tax. Okay, I'm going to say goodbye to you. Goodbye to you. There's no sugar tax, you moron. Bye. Again, I don't have time for nonsense. Wild Bill West, yeah, the big media brought to you by Big Pharma. Did you notice that? We didn't have all the vaccine companies. 3.5
unafraid to die. We came to flame, we'll fight for the gospel.
That is tone-deaf and communist Mao worshiper and awful, evil human being Hassan Piker sitting in a tour full of harpies from hell in the audience, making fun of Charlie Kirk, a father, a peaceful man, a good man who was maligned by the left, called a fascist, and ultimately had his neck splayed open with a bullet that killed that ended his life. And he thinks it's funny. And here is Scott Jennings dealing with a delusional panelist. This is why the Democrat Party is doing a death spiral into hell. He's stating the very obvious about an awful Hassan Piker, who, by the way, suddenly this Abdul Al-Sayed is distancing him from Hassan Piker, even though he's known everything that Hassan Piker has stood for, including saying that we deserved 9/11, Israel should be wiped off the face of the map, and Mao was a great leader, even though he killed 70 million of his own people. Hassan Piker is an evil, evil man and an evil communist, and Abdul Al-Sayed had him at his big party before he barely won his primary in Michigan. This is Scott Jennings trying to say the truth, and delusional Democrats denying what is patently obvious.
Well, I opened up my social media algorithm this morning, Maria, to find that the principal spokesperson for the Democratic Party, Hassan Piker, was leading a rally last night. Reading a rally last night to celebrate the assassination.
No, it is absolutely true. Here, let me play the freaking audio. Do you need to play the damned audio again? We just heard the audio of him singing.
Of Charlie Kirk.
That's
so
not true.
I love the...
It is absolutely true. There's no denying there's video and audio. I just played the audio.
The recitation of the talking points. All of the energy in your party is behind a bunch of violent socialists who have taken over the messaging operation of the Democratic Party. And look, midterms are historically good for the party out of power. I wonder if Democrats are squandering their opportunity because they've outsourced all of their energy and messaging to people who want to fundamentally rip out the United States of America.
Yes, because they went from just hating Donald Trump to bedding down with communism.
Root and branch.
That message reeks of desperation on behalf of Republicans.
Hey, pick it up, take a look at it.
The midterm elections are just completely not going to be in their favor.
Defend it.
Because you look at the generic ballot,
she won't.
Democrats are ahead. You look at where Americans think...
No, actually they're not. You're offering no solutions. You are offering nothing but darkness, and you're bedding down with the devil. Your party is doing a death spiral into hell, and she's denying the reality by citing fake polls as much as she's denying the reality that Hassan Piker was celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk just now. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
out.
Live from Newsmax Studios in Washington, D.C., the most interesting, informative, and funny show in America, on air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 2 of the show, and at the bottom of the hour, from Act for America, Brigitte Gabriel, and I'm told for the very first time, there's a good chance we're going to have her on camera. That'll be cool. That'll be cool. She is a spitfire, I'll just tell you that. She is a spitfire, and I can't wait to hear what she's got to say about this unprecedented economic sanctions on Iran. I haven't had a chance to follow Canada very much. Apparently, we got a little fight going on with Canada. I think we had a deal on the table there, and their limp-wristed prime minister is going to play tough. And Doug Ford, the former crack addict, says he's going to cut off power to America. Really, you really want to poke the pit bull? Do you really just want to poke that pit bull? I mean, Canada, you kind of been a sucker fish on the shark of the United States for a whole damn time, and probably not going to be a good idea to pick on Donald Trump particularly. So I'll get to all the details on that. I'm been buried in a lot of stuff, a lot of show prep and whatnot. And much to get. A little bit of good news, though. This is kind of fun because despite all of the protestations of the left and the awfulness of them demonizing a group of people who sacrifice their own safety to protect us from those who have entered our borders illegally, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, the Democrat Party, starting years ago with the awful and idiotic Kamala Harris, calling them Nazis and brown shirts and all that, absolutely untrue, utterly insulting and awful for those people and their families, all by design. Fortunately, it hasn't slowed them down. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents have arrested more than 1,300 illegal aliens. I said it, illegal aliens. Oh, my God, I can actually say illegal aliens. It's kind of crazy here. I think this should be let me see if I can find this song here. Hold on. Yeah, we can say illegal aliens now. Remember, there was a couple of years you couldn't say illegal aliens. Yeah, there was even a song years ago from the group Genesis. You Gen Zers probably don't know about it. I can say it now. Yeah, that song had been banned, but I can play it now. So there you go. Sorry. So over the course of just 2 weeks in Virginia and Maryland, they arrested sexual assailants, kidnappers, drunk drivers, robbers, and gang members. This happening near the Washington, D.C. area where I live. From August 1st through August 14th, ICE agents arrested 1,328 illegal aliens. I said it again. Drink. As part of a multi-state effort. Of those arrested, nearly 400 either convicted or charged with crimes. Many were members of MS-13, 18th Street, and Tren de Agua gang members. Among those, illegal aliens, drink, arrested in the operation is Inge, I think, Wilfredo José Moran of El Salvador, who was wanted for murder, and he was living in Richmond, Virginia, and the Democrats wanted him out because they wanted him to vote for him. There you go. Among the other illegal aliens, drink. Arrested. Don't be driving if you're drinking, okay? If you're drinking, and by the way, if you're drinking at this time of day, probably want to maybe consider an intervention. That said, I'm speaking figuratively. Among those illegal aliens, drink, arrested in operation as well, Actionel Pierre, a criminal illegal alien from Haiti, whose criminal history includes arrest for attempted murder, 2 counts of assault, possession of a dangerous weapon, intent to injure, and reckless endangerment. Estrella Reyes Funes, a criminal illegal alien from Honduras, whose criminal history includes a conviction, felony hit and run, arrest for making a threat or to bomb or burn, assault and battery on a family member, violating a protective order. Other than that, somebody you'd love to have your daughter date. No, not really. Mauricio Antonio Barrera Navidad, a criminal illegal alien and MS gang member. Chris Van Hollen probably like to have a drink with him. From, or maybe even some conjugal visit or something. I have no idea. From El Salvador. Robbery, use, and illegal possession of firearms. 2 counts of illicit association with the illegal group MS-13. And the Democrat Party loves them. Haitian migrants are now self-deporting to Canada after President Donald Trump's administration ended TPS for Haiti with approval from the Supreme Court of the United States. You see, we offered temporary protective status to some people, but it didn't mean you could come here and make it your home forever. It's temporary protective status until your country finally gets its head pulled out of its rear end. But a lot of, remember when Donald Trump called some of the third world countries that send people and the people who flee with temporary protective status, he called them S-holes. Does anybody remember that? Yeah. Well, it's because they are. It's because they are. So there is that. Trump administration preparing to revoke the business and tourism visas of up to 200,000 foreigners who applied for or are currently seeking asylum in the United States. If it happens, the move would be the largest single mass revocation of visas in U.S. history and would likely face legal challenges, but at least it's finally being challenged because we have been bee-slapped by the third world for a very long time. You heard about this. The U.S. Supreme Court hands a win to Trump over mail-in ballot restrictions. That's good because, you know, mail-in balloting has been expanded so that people can vote illegally. And like in Minnesota, you can go in and vouch for 8 people or whatever, and of course all of the ballot dumps and ballot boxes and the signatures that don't match and stuff, and illegals being registered to vote. And it's happened, by the way. No, that doesn't happen at all, Rob. You're wrong. Oh, no. 6,000 non-citizens illegally registered in New Jersey. 400 of them voted. 75,000 non-citizens summoned for jury duty in New Jersey every year. What else here? I got another one here. Let's see. There's more. I'll get the other ones. Hundreds of thousands of illegals have been registered to vote around the country, by the way. And it's all by design. That's why the Democrat Party opened the southern border. But President Donald Trump's administration, the Supreme Court lifted a judicial decision blocking the administration from implementing his order to restrict the use of mail-in ballots ahead of the November election. That will decide the control of Congress. Trump's executive order issued in March, listen to how despotic this is, directed the Department of Homeland Security to compile and transmit a list to states, a list of U.S. citizens eligible to vote in each state, and the Justice Department to prioritize investigating and prosecuting state and local election officials who issue ballots to people deemed not eligible to vote. I know, it's despotic. He's such a racist. It required the U.S. Postal Service to deliver ballots only to voters on each state's approved mail-in ballot list. The Postal Service recently moved to implement Trump's directive. There you go. Basically just keeping illegal aliens from voting. Listen to this language. It's like I swear to God, I swear they just lifted some passages from Mein Kampf. Here's the executive order. Free, fair, and honest elections unmarred by fraud, errors, or suspicion are fundamental to maintaining our constitutional republic. Well, that doesn't sound very Hitlerian, does it? The right of every American to have their votes properly counted and tabulated without illegal dilution is vital to determining the rightful winner of every election. Again, I'm not hearing shades of Hitler here. Under the Constitution, state governments must safeguard American elections in compliance with federal laws and protect Americans' voting rights and guard them against dilution by illegal voting, discrimination, fraud, and other forms of malfeasance and error. Yet the United States has not adequately enforced federal election requirements that, for example, prohibit states from counting ballots received after Election Day or prohibit non-citizens from registering to vote. Here is Mike Davis talking about the ruling overturning this Biden-era judge, Obama judge, trying to prevent Donald Trump from stopping illegals from voting.
President Trump ordered his Postal Service, his Attorney General, his Secretary of Homeland Security to work together to make sure that states are only using our Postal Service to mail ballots to lawful voters and not to,
oh my God, that's such a crime against humanity,
to illegal aliens and other unlawful voters. And there was an Obama...
You're a racist or something, xeno-homophobic person.
Judge in Boston, this left-wing radical judge. She's a radical, and she said President Trump couldn't do that. The First Circuit agreed. The Supreme Court correctly said that, yes, the president can move forward, and this is preliminary. If there is injury to real parties down the road, then they can bring a lawsuit. But the states are not injured here.
No, they are not injured here, not one little bit. But, people like you and me are injured when someone votes illegally, because it means your vote is being canceled by someone. Why are Democrats against it?
I mean, the president is going to move fast. And I would just say this. Why are the Democrats so scared to have accountability with our elections?
Because they cheat. Yeah, I said it.
Why are they so scared to make sure that the Postal Service is not committing mail fraud by mailing ballots to illegal aliens and other illegal voters?
Yeah, by the way. Trump highlighted the massive number of illegal voters across the country. The DHS recently said that preliminary reviews of voter records in California, New Jersey, Nevada, and Pennsylvania show the following. Are you ready? 190,000 non-citizen registered in California. They are. They can vote. They don't investigate voter fraud in California. 35,000 non-registered or non-citizens registered in New Jersey. Almost 16,000 non-citizens in Nevada. 15,000 non-citizens in Pennsylvania. DHS has also found 400,000 deceased registrants and over 28,000 non-citizens across states that share their election files with the department. This comes in addition to the massive Chinese voter data breach, 220 million U.S. voters. This was all a plan by the Democrat Party. This is why they're caterwauling and screeching and doing a death spiral into hell. This is why they don't have a platform. This is why they don't have a plan other than Donald Trump bad, and now they're turning to the Democrat Socialists, the communists, to win their elections. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Hey, listen, are you a 50-year...
joint.
Digging.
One thing I would like to see updated is the word homeless to the word unhoused.
How about new?
And I saw a lot of unhoused people in Baltimore. I used to love going downtown Baltimore when I lived here. My son was playing baseball, and he was like 9 years old, and we'd go up to Balmer and go to the Orioles games, and they'd let the kids walk around the warning track and all that, and treat them like celebrities. And I love Baltimore, going down to the Inner Harbor and everything, but it is one block off the Inner Harbor is friggin' third world. It's just unbelievable. I was driving over to Johns Hopkins, and you got homeless guy passed out on the sidewalk. You got across the street, you got boarded up buildings, then you got an X-rated video arcade and gang graffiti everywhere. You go downtown Washington, D.C., it's like Rome at its prime. My God, it is absolutely stunning here. Crime is down to all-time lows, and it's a real shame because Baltimore was the deal. I love Baltimore. I always, if there's like two cities that I like to compare. Say, for instance, Kansas City, St. Louis. I'm going to choose St. Louis. St. Louis is more eastern. It's kind of gritty. It's real blue collar. Kansas City is a little more gleaming. Dallas, Fort Worth, I would probably choose Fort Worth. Again, a little more gritty, a little more blue collar, a little more Walmart versus Macy's and all of that. And it was Baltimore, D.C., kind of the same thing. Baltimore, ethnic, more, great places to eat, Italian food, etc. But they just keep putting idiots in charge in the state of Maryland and in the city of Baltimore, and they've got just a bunch of frickin' nutbags in their general asylum, also known as the General Assembly. And it's a shame, but maybe we're on a course correction here. We'll see what happens. We were talking about registering illegals to vote and having them vote. And Mikey Sherrill is a corrupt governor in the state of New Jersey. She's not going to release the names of 6,000 non-citizens illegally registered to vote in New Jersey, and says that it was she said it was a software error. She blamed it on the vote tallying company, and they're fighting back. Here is Stephen Turley talking about that.
And foremost, she blamed the vendor, a company called Edemia, for the software error. Well, Edemia ain't playing along. Company officials there are telling reporters that the data was never wrong at all, and they have proof. Yeah. All 6,600 records, they say, show these individuals, these non-citizens, clearly answering no to the citizenship question when they were asked point blank, "Are you a citizen?" at the motor vehicles. And to their credit, they all put no, and yet somehow they ended up being registered as yes, as citizens when it came to the voter rolls.
Now, what does that mean? Is that a glitch?
Now, that's not a computer glitch.
What? It isn't?
That's human interference. That's human manipulation. There's no imaginable computer glitch where they're registered no in one database suddenly turns up as yes in another for the same question.
Yeah, the leaders of the Democrat Party across the United States are the world's largest organized crime family. And it's just, and you know why I know this? Because I'm not stupid. Whistleblower has revealed that Michigan Secretary of State Joycelyn Benson's election software is programmed to automatically register non-citizens, including illegal aliens, to vote whenever they update or move their addresses. The feature is hardwired into the system. Local clerks have zero ability to override or block them. Here are some of those local clerks. Here are some of those local clerks I found this. They're speaking out. They want help from the feds to come in because they know that they are registering illegals. Here's one named David Olson talking about the situation.
Hello, my name is David Olson, clerk at Hastings Charter Township in Barry County, Michigan. My county sheriff, Darleaf, had received a report today and disseminated that information that an employee at the Secretary of State advised him and said that there was proof that when a non-citizen changes their address, programming automatically registers the non-citizen to vote.
Wow.
When that state employee advised their supervisor, the supervisor's response was, it's okay because that will be caught downline by the clerks.
No, it won't. They just get them registered and then they vote.
That is not correct. Once it's in the qualified voter file, there's no way for me to verify citizenship, and therefore they are automatically issued.
Local clerks have zero ability to override or block it.
A ballot or an absentee ballot.
Even worse, clerks are locked out of any meaningful way to verify or determine a voter's citizenship status.
So, since it is my responsibility to safeguard the qualified voter file for our township, according to MCL 168.151 and MCL 168.520, I'm asking if the federal government is interested to help verify my citizen role. I would be welcome.
Yeah, here's another one. Her name is Sarah DeBoer, and she is a poll worker at, are you ready for this? A town called Climax Township.
Hello, my name is Sarah DeBoer. I'm the clerk of Climax Township in Kalamazoo County, Michigan. Today I am joining with other
I think I might have to add that one to my bucket list.
Clerks across the state of Michigan calling for federal assistance in verifying the citizenship status of those on our voter rolls.
Wow.
I'm asking for this to be done legally and in my office to ensure that the voter files are protected under Michigan law. Recently, a whistleblower who was an employee at the Secretary of State's office came forward alleging that the Secretary of State is registering non-citizens to vote. Contrary to what the supervisor of that employee told them, local clerks have zero ability to verify the citizenship status of anyone in the qualified voter files.
Yeah.
So I am asking for federal assistance to do my duty as a local clerk.
We've got to be warriors, guys. We are in a war. We must retain both houses and increase our leads and then really start gutting the Democrat Party of this corruption. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Doug took Relief Factor for nearly a year before convincing his wife, a special needs teacher, to try it. She had been using assistance just to move through the long hallway at school. Now she's back on her feet every day. Never had to leave the job she loves. I can attest to this. I ride my mountain bike every weekend from 30 to 50 miles. I lift weights, and I'm lifting heavier than I did when I was 30 without pain. People like Doug make it easy to find out if you'll be the next person telling us Relief Factor gave you what you love. 3 weeks for just $17.76. Simply go to relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. We hope you'll be sharing your story with us too. relieffactor.com or 1-800-4RELIEF. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. You may not remember every time you toss, turn, or wake up hot, but your body does. That's why you wake up tired before the day even starts. That's why I got a Ghost Bed, the best bed in the history of mankind. Ghost Bed is engineered to help reduce the reasons your sleep gets interrupted. Ghost Bed is designed to relieve pressure, help regulate temperature, support your body. Cooling technology built into every mattress and made in the USA. With Ghost Bed's 101 night trial, you can try it at home because the real test of a mattress is how you feel in the morning. If you're waking up sore or tired before the day even starts, check out Ghost Bed. For a limited time during Ghost Bed's Labor Day sale, they're offering my audience an extra 10% off their lowest prices of the season. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So now we're hearing a lot of stuff. I had heard that the Kurdish forces have begun to maybe start a ground invasion. I don't know if this is true or not. I'm sure you would know, but I've seen that on a number of different social media feeds. Do you know anything about that? I know we've got them on their heels with this economic attack on them. What have you heard?
Well, nothing is confirmed yet. Okay. Right now, this is the rumors that are going on the internet. We know that we have been we tried to arm the Kurds and they kept the weapons. I know that our government, the CIA and the Mossad are on the ground in Iran. They're working with the Kurds and they were trying everything they can to mobilize the Kurds to be able to at least have some traction with getting in and taking, either working with the resistance in Iran or going in and taking major locations where they can support the Iranians in case they want to rise. And maybe that's what we are seeing right now. I mean, we are literally at the end where we are trying to exercise, working with Israel, every option at our disposal, economic, military, and everything else, to be able to weaken and take over and basically destroy this regime.
Brigitte Gabriel, you're talking about 2 million reals for $1. That currency is worthless. Yep,
that currency is worthless right now. They are on the verge of collapse, and they are so much on the verge of collapse. And we haven't really started the major sanctions. They just kicked in yesterday, and today we're starting to see other countries come forward and saying, okay, we're going to change our minds, we're going to abide with the United States laws, we're not going to do business with Iran. And President said we're going to see one major bank change their ways, or us sanctioning a major bank by the end of the week. We do not know what they're talking about, but obviously we are working on all levels to enforce the economic pressure. Now, with that being said, the Iranian besieged are so afraid of rising from within the inside of Iran, from the resistance, that they brought back the leader who led the besiege back 20 years ago, who was ruthless, to make sure they rule the besieged right now in order for them to control any resistance or any rise by the people of Iran. So of all the new appointees that Iran just did, Muqtada Khomeini right now that he assigned, this is the most important position, and that goes to show you how much they know that because of the economic collapse, they are going to see a major rise by the people, and they are trying to stop it. So, they are on their end days, but it's very difficult because it's not going to be easy. It's going to lash out in every way they can, and we saw the threats that they just made against Barron Trump and the video that they put out on social media.
Yes.
But they're gonna try everything they can right now. We are truly in the last phase of the war.
We are. And now I had heard they were offering $10 million for the murder of Barron Trump. And I mean, honestly, this should certainly be the last straw that can show we cannot deal with these people. We cannot put pen to paper to end any sort of an accord. They have to be removed from power. If they are not taken out, their lives ended, they will have to be tried and convicted. I mean, this is it. This is, I think, the big collapse we've been waiting for.
Yes, and look, like you said, these people are ruthless. I mean, they don't have a conscience. You know, Barron Trump is a kid. He has nothing to do with the policies of his father. You can understand why they want to put a bounty on President Trump's head. Okay, he's the leader of a country. But to take a child who's just coming out of teenage years, who has nothing to do with his father's decision, or his mother for that fact, or even his sister Ivanka. Remember how they put out the threat for Ivanka? They even had plans for her house. So this is the type of people we are dealing with. And right now, what we are concerned about, Rob, is because of the economic pressure, because of the tightening on Iran that we are doing, they have operatives in the United States. And speaking of operatives, they obviously have somebody on the inside here in America who is making all this information available to them, including, you know, Barron Trump's movement, where he goes, how he travels. The same thing with Melania, where she shops. So you know they've got people on the inside giving them this information. But what we are concerned about right now in the United States is with all the pressure we are putting on them, that they can do attacks within the United States. Obviously, they cannot do kinetic attacks against America, but they can certainly attack our water supply. They can certainly attack our electric grid, our banking, and that's why we are making sure we take massive security measures right now, our government, to protect these assets, to make sure that we are not harmed by an Iranian reaction.
I saw that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent just posted on Twitter, Iran's leadership is admitting what the world can see now. The pressure is working. President Pezeshkian acknowledged Iran's economic shortages, saying the war must come to an end at some point. That's a pretty big deal. The Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, Iran's parliamentary speaker, was even more direct. No matter how much military power we have, if people are hungry and we don't have financial circulation, economic growth and domestic production will not endure. And I got to tell you, even if they are maniacs in the IRGC, they can't survive without food. They can't survive without the ability to have a livelihood. And if only paradise awaits them for their martyrdom, that's not much of a motivation for them. What do you think?
Well, it is a driver for only a certain aspect of the population, which is about the 8 to 9 million people who adhere to the radical ideologies of the mullah. Now, you remove the women and children who are going to be starving, and you are left with the men out of that 8 or 9 million people. Now, not all of them are going to be saying, okay, you know, I'm willing to sacrifice everything. You know, when they're going to be looking at their kids dying or hungry or starving, the country is collapsing. You know, at the end of the day, the survival instinct is going to kick in with some of them. And some of them are going to be the ones who are going to betray the leadership and take them out. I think we're going to get to a point that's what we are hoping for, and this is why we are squeezing them to that level. Look, President Trump did not want to harm the people. This is exactly why he did not want to bomb the major infrastructure in Iran. And that's exactly why we are taking very careful steps to ensure that a lot of people would not die. And right now, with the economic squeeze, we are hoping that the economic squeeze on the entire nation is going to force the leaders to basically surrender or come to the table, or even have people from within the infrastructure betray the leadership.
Now, Brigitte,
and that will give us the aim to be able.
We've got to take a break and come back on the other side a little bit more on this. And I want your thoughts on Abdul El Sayed saying that he doesn't believe Sharia law should control anybody and whatnot. We'll cover that on the other side of the break. Brigitte Gabriel, actforamerica.org. Sign up, actforamerica.org. This is the Rob Carson Show. Back in a few.
WCBM.com.
Happening currently is that the full weight of American resolve is coming down extremely hard on Iran after 6 months of absolutely devastating military blows to the Iranian military, to their infrastructure, and to their once burgeoning, I should say, nuclear proliferation program. The United States has now waged the greatest financial offensive against an adversary in modern American history.
This is very similar without the military strikes of what happened to the Soviet Union before it collapsed. I remember that, Brigitte Gabriel. They were under so much economic duress that the people had enough, and eventually the wall came tumbling down. They did not try to slaughter their population in mass, which was surprising, but some similarities, and I'm hoping that this may be the momentum that we need to end this thing.
I hope so. We will see. The difference between them and the Russians is the leaders in Iran under the Besieged are driven by a spiritual, eternal life with Allah. Yeah. You know, when you put the religion into it, no Russians, not even the Nazis, blew themselves up in order to kill others, thinking if I just blow myself up as a suicide bomber, I will be, able to go to heaven. The Nazis couldn't even look at the Jewish people's eyes when they shot them. They had them turn their back because, they couldn't do that. Islam is very different. So that's what separates these Muslim lunatics from Russia or from the Russians or the Germans or anybody else. Yep. But again, the economic pressure, I think this is where when people are dying anyway, there are going to be nothing stopping them from storming in and trying to rise in mass against the government.
I did notice last night, I saw some massive protests from older people in Iran, the adults in the room, not just students. The student uprisings generally associated with Iran, but older adults who are realizing that their lifelong pitches that they have been expecting their entire lives are disappearing. And I thought that was interesting last night, because then if you've got that going, then you've got the entire population with the potential of a mass uprising and a possible overwhelming of the smaller IRGC forces. What do you think?
Exactly, and that's what they are worried about. Iran is worried because once people are starving and they know they're dying and they're watching their family die, then it's no longer about, I'm just going to stand and demonstrate for the change of the regime. Then they are demonstrating, then they are coming out in mass trying to fight to survive. So their survival depends on killing this regime. And that's when you're going to see people in mass. You can control, 10% of a city. You can control maybe 20% of a city. Yep. But you cannot control 80% of a city taking to the streets because they know they are dying. When people are faced with death, they will do anything to survive, and that's where they are in Iran.
Oh, I'm praying for freedom, sister. I am praying for freedom. Abul El-Sayed was last night interviewed by Jesse Waters. He lies through his teeth about everything. Here he is being asked about Sharia law.
So getting rid of Sharia law is white supremacy. Can you explain that one?
Do you know what canon law is? Jesse, I assume you're Christian, right?
Yeah, tell me.
All right, so canon law is the name for Christian law. I don't begrudge you your right to practice your faith as you choose. I don't know why the idea that I could practice my faith as I choose is a problem. Nobody is trying to push Sharia law on anyone else, just like I hope nobody is trying to push canon.
Really? I would venture to say that is false if you look at places like, I don't know, in Michigan or in Texas. For him to say that nobody's trying to push Sharia law in this country is ludicrous, and it's a lie.
It's baloney, and especially when they start comparing it to canon law. Yes. Look, I was raised Catholic, so I can tell you, canon law and Jewish law are both based on our Judeo-Christian values, which is the exact same values and principles that the Constitution of the United States was based upon. It's the foundation. Judeo-Christian values are the foundation of Western civilization. Under our Constitution, we believe that God created man and woman as equals in the eyes of God, at least our Judeo-Christian God. Under Islamic law, a woman is worth half of that of a man.
Wow.
So just for starters, we can start there. So you cannot compare Sharia law to canon law or Jewish law. And also remember, we are a nation founded on Judeo-Christian values. We are a Christian nation, despite what the majority want to tell you. The people who tell you right now,
yes.
Oh, we don't care, we're this and that. No, America was a majority Christian nation founded on Judeo-Christian values. Now, whether you went to church or not, whether you only went to church on Christmas, or whether you go to church every single day, the culture is a Christian culture.
Amen. Amen.
And while we respect people, now, can you imagine us going to Saudi Arabia and telling Saudi Arabia, hey, you practice your Sharia law, I want to practice my canon law because I'm a Christian. You cannot tell me how to practice my religion in my country. Can you imagine? It'll never fly in any Islamic country.
And he's by the way, in wrapping things up, he is a lying Marxist Islamist. That's all there is to it. And Islamists will lie about anything, so you can't trust a dang thing he said. Brigitte, we gotta go. Tell everybody where they can find your glorious organization.
People can go to actforamerica.org and join us, actforamerica.org. Join us. Let's save our country together.
Free Iran, it's coming. It's coming. We're going to celebrate. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hi, kids. She's fun. Our forefathers were brilliant. I mean, honestly. You think about this, and listen, I'll make the comparison because we had forefathers who acknowledged that our rights come from God. When you read the Bible, and you read some of those passages thousands of years old, you recognize a wisdom that must have been divine in a time that was much less sophisticated and barbarous than it is now. But the truths that they wrote were absolutely brilliant. Our forefathers the same way. It was a hard-scrabble life largely for those who lived in America. People lived in an agrarian society. They were poor, largely. They had to grow their own food or hunt their own food. It was a much more difficult road to hoe in a new world. And yet the forefathers, without the benefit of electric light or electricity or transportation that was in other than horseback and wagon, they were able to have the forethought and the philosophical roots necessary to create something that has lasted this long. And the truths are still as truthful as they were then, just like in the many passages of the Bible that we guide our lives with. It's very similar. It's very similar. I didn't mean to get so philosophical there, but I guess I kind of did. One, two, three.
And WCBM.com.
Should have been 2.5 here.
Dig
Come on, Pete. Start moving. Got to get me there.
Brigitte Gabriel's awesome. I think we're, I don't know. I am guided by several things. You know this as well as I do. Common sense, life experience, show prep, and a gut instinct that tells me things that have been right, and I thank God for giving them to me. When I said that all of the nonsense of COVID was just that, when I said that Donald Trump was going to be the president again, when I said that Kamala Harris' candidacy was a joke, was an absolute joke, All of these things that I've said over the years, I've been pretty accurate with it, and I have a feeling that Iran, the remnants of the Ayatollah and the IRGC are going to fall. And I predicted years ago that freedom would spread around the world. Freedom and patriotism and faith would spread around the world. I had wonderful conversations with people over the weekend at the Grand Prix race who I had the wonderful opportunity to meet and hang with for a few hours. And I believe we are the reaction to the action of evil. We are the reaction to the action of evil. If people go to see a Hassan Piker rally and they cheer the assassination of Charlie Kirk, you are on the wrong side of evil. Karma is going to bite you in the ass. If you are down with the nonsense of transgenderizing children, karma is going to bite you in the rear end, and you're going to pay for what you have done. If you are down with being illegals registering to vote and voting and taking away the votes of citizens of the United States of America, you are going to pay for that in this life or the next. We are the reaction to the action of evil that had taken over the world, and we are cleaning up Washington, D.C. The devil is in for the fight of his life, and he's pushing back, and he's got his minions in the Democratic Socialists of America who don't believe in God, and we're going to drive them into the pits of hell, and we're going to take back our country for the next 250 years. 1 hour of the Rob Carson Show remaining for today, and we'll do that after this. Don't go anywhere.
it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 3, the 25th of August, 2026. I've been on the radio for many years, and I've broken news stories, everything from the Shuttle Challenger to 9/11. The passings of great people, the passings of not so great people, and I'm sorry to say we lost a really great one today. Dolly Parton has passed away at the age of 80. Here is a family member acknowledging her passing.
Hey everyone, my name is Brian Seaver, son of Cassie Parton, and I'm representing the Parton and Owens family today, announcing the passing of my Aunt Dolly Rebecca Parton Dean, sister, sis, Aunt Granny to one generation and Gigi to the next. This video announcement is something Dolly asked of me years ago, before I fully absorbed it as a future reality. As her head of security for more than 2 decades, a role my father Larry held before me, I have imagined the heaviness of this moment, but haven't truly felt it until now. It is an honor that is mixed with absolute pride and great sadness. But sadness lies with us, not with Dolly. Dolly has lived in the light and is in the arms of Jesus, surely met by Carl, her parents, and countless others who have watched her and longed for her to meet them in the heavens. I first went on the road with Dolly as a kid, getting a taste of the road life in the early 1980s. Dolly opened doors not just for me, but for her entire family to reach the potential we didn't even know was possible. Dolly also opened doors for generations of singers, songwriters, musicians, and dreamers from every walk of life and across every continent. By her example, we believed that anything was possible. She never saw a door she couldn't open, and the doors she opened made and changed history. My family and I have shared a lifetime of beautiful memories with Dolly, but so have you. She has always been on your television, your record player, your CD, and on your phone playlist, becoming an extended part of your family, whether you liked it or not. Yeah. Our family and the team she has entrusted with her legacy will work diligently to ensure her spirit will live with us forever. Dolly was a farmer, just like her daddy. He farmed the soil, she farmed songs and happiness. Dolly called me and said she wants to rest in a beautiful bed of plush cotton because after a life wearing heavy rhinestones, she finally deserves to be comfortable and have some rest. Rest in peace, Aunt Dolly, Aunt Granny, Gigi. May God bless Dolly Parton, and may God bless you all. She will always love you.
Wow. Maybe it's the testosterone suppressants I'm on, but I'm getting a little verklempt. She was an icon. I don't care what country, whatever genre of music you like. Look what she did. She was a great actor. She was an incredible vocalist. How many covers of Jolene have you heard? One of the most iconic songs ever written, Jolene. Absolutely brilliant. She was an entrepreneur. She had Dolly World. It was a massive Dollywood, a massive enterprise. She reached people on stage, on television. I remember when I was a kid watching some of we watched Hee Haw, growing up and whatnot, and Dolly would sing back in the old days of country when she wore that big old wig on her head and sang with these great country music singers who are no longer with us. But she was just something else, man. I got to tell you, this really saddened me. I was just doing a little digging here. I'm going to play a little bit of some of her funny moments.
I think most country people, and certainly entertainers like myself, I think comedy is part of our being because it's kind of what helps you through the hard times growing up. We made more fun of stuff that you shouldn't even laugh at, but that was the funniest stuff to us because we try to find the humor in it.
100%.
And so, can I tell you a story, something fun that happened about that? Because once when I took them up there, we were in the restaurant, and so we were having our meal, and this old man came over to our table. And he sat down, and he was just talking to us, and we were all laughing. We didn't know him. And we just, we were all just kind of, and then so he left, and we finished. So I went up to pay the bill, and the man said, well, your grandpa left his bill here, too. I said, my grandpa? So that old man had come over and kind of scammed us. And so I said, well, that was not my grandpa, but I paid it, of course. So when we left, I walked down the street, and he was standing there at the light. And, we walked to the corner. And so I went over to him. I said, hey, I would have been happy, to have paid your bill. I said, but for them, you tell him you're my grandpa. And he took his walking stick, and he started just beating me across the chest. I mean, just as hard as he could. Just wham, 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 wham. And it hurt.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. But
really? But then what happened?
What do you mean, what happened? These two big lumps came up, and they never did go down.
Oh, God.
Valley. The question is, if you could tell teenagers of America today one thing, whether it be advice or something of support, what would it be?
I would say, act like it's raining every day and wear your rubbers.
What's going on there?
Oh, I think it looks like some chicken shoving a hat up a duck's ass.
And it's a good thing I was born a woman, or I'd have been a drag queen. It's true, I would have, I'm sure.
Have you known Jennifer Aniston for a while?
I love her to death. My husband is crazy about her.
Oh, really?
Yes. And he was more excited that I was going to do a movie with her than he was that I got the chance to write all this music. See, I think he kind of fantasizes like a threesome with us.
I just grabbed a highlight reel. No, that was the highlight reels, but look at 9 to 5. It was so funny. I'm in my Bronco this weekend, and the algorithm starts showing me some new, relatively new hip hop. And they sample, right? They sample songs. And I'm listening to this guy sampling 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton. Now, you're thinking hip-hop music and country music, 9 to 5 Dolly Parton. But it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. And somebody just mentioned on the chat here, she wrote "I Will Always Love You," made famous by Whitney Houston. An absolutely brilliant, beautiful, beautiful song. How many times have you heard that song and brought tears to your eyes? Somebody mentioned she was a female Elvis. She had that kind of impact. Yeah, you know what? I would venture to say that. I would venture to say that her impact was really close, was getting right up there. Two different people came from poor backgrounds, went on to revolutionize the music to some degree. Dolly Parton, following in the heels of Patsy Cline, and was so ultra talented at just about everything. Like I said, she was an entrepreneur. She was an actress. She was in Fried Green Tomatoes. She was good. Everything she did on screen was great. Didn't she do that Sly Stallone movie, where Sly Stallone she tried to convince him to be a country music star? It was a terrible movie. It was a terrible movie. But the thing about her also. Oh God, yes, I forgot about Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. She was in that, and she was fantastic in that. Man, that's just something else. I don't know what exactly happened, but she was 80 years old, and I'm seeing here a global icon, a humanitarian, Dolly Parton, known to the world as a beloved singer, songwriter, philanthropist, actress, playwright, and author. Died in Nashville, Tennessee today. She was 80 years old. And I'm going to tell you, of all of the people, and we've seen some icons die, like Prince about 10 years ago. I remember that one. It knocked me on my rear end. But Dolly Parton was something else. And you know what else? She was also a good and decent and a godly person. I mean, did you ever see a bad side of Dolly Parton? Did you ever see her, in some sort of trouble with the law, or in some sort of a drunken whatever, or whatever. She was, if you want to look at somebody, I don't care what color you were, what creed you are, what music you listen to, she was an icon, and she was a role model. She was a fantastic role model. It's so funny, my daughter's 21 years old now. 9 to 5 has been on her playlist since she was 3. She absolutely loved Dolly Parton's music. She was a feminist, but not, bitter, crazy, liberal cat lady feminist. She showed that you could be beautiful, you could be, feminine, and you could be a powerhouse without surrendering anything. I just felt like I needed to say that today. I know that you probably feel the same way because, when I looked at TV, and I'm like, no way, Dolly Parton has passed away. But I'm sure the tributes will be coming hot and heavy today, and I'll just say it's such a loss. But man, what a life to celebrate! The great Dolly Parton passed away at 80 years of age today in Nashville. Her impact will be felt for decades to come. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. You can bump back with some Dolly Parton music, maybe Jolene.
Jolene here.
Oh, hell yeah.
Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man.
What a voice. What a voice.
Jolene, 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 please don't take him just because you can.
That song, I'll tell you what, that song by Dolly Parton, in case you just heard, Dolly Parton passed away. Not sure if it was last night or this morning. She was 80 years old, and we don't know the cause. You know, it doesn't matter. She was 80 years old, and I think that it was interesting because I wrote my kids this morning. And normally, you know, you're dealing with a couple of Gen Zers, and you're talking about the passing of an 80-year-old person, and you're thinking, you know, will this be relevant to them? And my son writes me back indelicately and said, well, that bleeping sucks, because both of them really loved her. They knew her. She was every bit as relevant, I think, to Gen Z as she was to my generation. And she had just a prolific and amazing life as a performer, and she did everything. I mean, you want to talk about the ultimate example of a feminist icon without without joy, like so many feminist icons do. We become miserable, crazy cat ladies. But what's just an amazing life, and I don't think I can spend enough time on it. I don't know if it is the best venue for me to spend the rest of the show talking about Dolly Parton, but you know, I think you understand, right? You're watching. You know what I'm talking about. You know what an impact it had, and many of you, I would say the lion's share of you are going, what an amazing life. It's so sad it had to end. But wow. Really wow. And honestly, on Spotify all the time, I see a cover of Jolene. There must be thousands of covers of Jolene out there. Everybody from Miley Cyrus, that song just iconic, and I Will Always Love You, and 9 to 5, and there are countless other songs that she did. Just amazing. Just amazing. Really, really amazing, amazing woman. Mark Carney has just declared economic war on the United States. He's the Prime Minister of Canada. Here's Glenn Beck. He has a much deeper understanding of this than I do.
So the talks have collapsed as of Friday, about midnight. 50% tariffs landed on about $20 billion of Canadian goods. We had a deal all week. We were working towards it. And at midnight Friday, Carney says no deal. Saturday morning, Mark Carney calls Donald Trump a miscalculation. By the afternoon, he had workshopped, and he had a better word: war. You're at war when you get attacked. We got attacked. We are at war. This is Canada.
Yeah. You think that's a good idea, Canada, considering you're the only freaking reason the Soviet Union didn't expand into Canada?
Okay.
Wow.
Mark Carney is not a stupid guy. He's not. He ran the Bank of Canada. He ran the Bank of England, mainly into the ground, but he ran the Bank of England. He's the first foreigner to hold that job in over 300 years.
Wow.
He can do the arithmetic in his sleep.
Yes.
72% of everything Canada sells abroad, it sells to us.
Yeah.
72%.
If we wanted to, we could collapse the Canadian economy just like we're doing to Iran.
85% of their crude oil comes down here because the refineries on our Gulf Coast are built to crack the heavy, sour crude that Alberta scrapes out of the sand.
Yeah.
And there's nobody else on Earth who wants that much of it. They're aluminum smelters. They've got aluminum, they've got steel out the wazoo, but they can't make it into anything. Their smelters run on Quebec hydro, and they ship it south. You can't win a trade war with the United States.
No.
He knows he cannot win a trade war with the United States.
Then why is he doing it?
So why start one?
Yeah.
Why? The answer is he's not fighting the tariffs. Just as I have told you, with everyone on Earth right now, they are fighting the calendar. A currency strategist at Corpay.
See, he's a globalist. He is a globalist. And I'm reading this piece that I found on Twitter this morning. Carney, look at who he is, one of the most powerful supporters of the Great Reset that Trump is trying to destroy. Look who he's hired as his chief operating officer, Maya Johnson, an American Democrat operative who worked on the Hillary Clinton, Biden, and Harris campaigns. She built her career trying to beat Trump. Now Carney is hoping she can help him do it. Carney says that Canada can't win a trade war against the U.S., so he's embracing the same strategy as Iran and every other enemy of Trump: target the American people and aim the pain at them. He's betting on Americans will get tired enough that they put the Democrats who supported the Great Reset back in power. That's an interesting way to put it, and it wouldn't surprise me because he is a globalist for sure, and I'm hoping that we will punish the governor of Canada for this. We'll see this. I mean, this is pretty big stuff. This is pretty big stuff, and I haven't had a chance to digest it as much as I would like to. But I will as the story develops and as I am able to understand more of it. And certainly we'll talk to Michael Charbon coming up on Thursday about it. But there you go. I want to play a few things. Well, last night Abdul El Sayed did an interview with Jesse Waters, and he looked like a damn fool. He was belligerent, typical, did a lot of, I know you are, but what am I? Here he is being asked about child sex surgery, by the way.
He dodged again. Sex changes for minors. Do you support that?
Look, I remember having great conversations with my conservative friends about right-to-try legislation.
Everything he's going to say is completely monstrous and unacceptable now.
The idea that the government shouldn't tell you what kind of health care you should have. I just think the government shouldn't tell you what kind of health care you should have. And if you're a minor,
you want to try on kids?
Yeah.
Now, if you disagree with that, if you disagree with that,
yes.
If you disagree,
because we're here to protect our damn children.
Healthcare decisions need to be made by a doctor and a parent.
You're not a doctor.
And a patient. Then we think we agree to disagree. But you want to put government inside.
So Abdul, you're a doctor, right?
Selectively. I am.
So you think it's okay for a parent to slash his kid's thing-a-ling off? You think that's okay?
I mean, do you really want to have this conversation? Are you circumcised?
Yeah, but I mean, that's a
Jesse,
personal question.
Okay,
doctor.
So you probably should want to move on.
Is circumcision's different than castration?
I think it's a problem. It's a problem that you think that you get to decide.
What a complete, uneducated. I mean, honestly, a doctor, he's a dockster. You're comparing castration and mutilization and making a child into a eunuch to removing a piece of skin, for God's sake. What a fool. I've got more of this coming up.
Here's the deal. The government is over 38...
Doug took Relief Factor for nearly a year before convincing his wife, a special needs teacher, to try it. She had been using assistance just to move through the long hallway at school. Now she's back on her feet every day. Never had to leave the job she loves. I can attest to this. I ride my mountain bike every weekend from 30 to 50 miles. I lift weights, and I'm lifting heavier than I did when I was 30 without pain. People like Doug make it easy to find out if you'll be the next person telling us Relief Factor gave you what you love. 3 weeks for just $17.76. Simply go to relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. We hope you'll be sharing your story with us too. relieffactor.com or 1-800-4RELIEF. Doug took Relief Factor for nearly a year before Doug took Relief Factor for nearly a year before convincing his wife, a special needs teacher, to try it. She had been using assistance just to move through the long hallway at school. Now she's back on her feet every day. Never had to leave the job she loves. I can attest to this. I ride my mountain bike every weekend from 30 to 50 miles. I lift weights, and I'm lifting heavier than I did when I was 30 without pain. People like Doug make it easy to find out if you'll be the next person telling us Relief Factor gave you what you love. 3 weeks for just $17.76. Simply go to relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. We hope you'll be sharing your story with us too. relieffactor.com or 1-800-4RELIEF. You got to have a good attitude.
County.
We got 9 to 5.
Here we go. You knew we had to play this. You knew you had to play this.
Tumble out of bed and I stumble to the kitchen, pour myself a cup of ambition and yawn and stretch and
Try to come alive. Wow.
Shower and the blood starts pumping.
Host of the... Oh, I gotta hold on.
Traffic starts jumping with folks like me on the job from 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5.
Oh, my goodness.
What a way to
All
make
right,
a
well,
living.
I knew that the irascible, the one and only Blaine Holt, the host of I'm sorry, my mind is in a flop here. Dangerous
intellectual.
Yeah, intellectuals. I'm kind of shocked that Dolly Parton's passed. I'm just kind of shocked by it all. Blaine Holt, what are your thoughts on that, brother?
Great lady.
Wow. What a powerful talent. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And you're about my age, so we grew up through all of this. We grew up through Hee Haw. We went through her singing with Porter Wagner. We saw 9 to 5. We saw Fried Green Tomatoes. I guess to some degree, we probably had to watch it with a date or something or a wife. But what a glorious one. Where are you, by the way? You're hanging outside today, I see.
You are on my deck in northern Idaho, and I am just looking at this perfect day. The temperature over there is 78 degrees, and man, I'm loving it. I have to be.
What is that? What is that background noise? You got some sort of noise in the background? Is that you?
No, that's not me.
I'm not hearing General Holt.
You are not hearing General Holt. Are you hearing General Holt now? Because I'm hearing General Holt, Brian.
No, I don't hear him.
General Holt, talk to me real quick.
There he is.
Blaine Holt is here. Reporting to duty.
There he is.
Okay. All right. Well, this is kind of strange. All right. Cool. Well, I'm sorry. I got to turn something off here. But we're kind of doing this for the first few weeks here. I'm hearing some sort of noise in the background. One more time. Brian, can you hear General Holt?
Can you hear General Holt?
I hear him now.
All right, there you go. Fine. Then we are out. We just started doing this last week. It's our first time having you on, General. I apologize for the inconvenience and the bumps and all of that stuff. So anyway, welcome to the show. We could talk about Dolly Parton all day long, but let's not. Let's talk about what's going on with Iran. I'm hearing this morning, and you would know, and I knew you're going to know. I'm hearing maybe some Kurdish activity venturing into the territory. What are you hearing?
Same thing. And actually, the Kurdish have had footholds in Iran now for some time. The force is building up. They're getting organized. They would be blocking any fleeing IRGC. They're going to be aiding and supplying and helping the Iranian revolutionary forces. There have been pictures from around Iran that show fires, riots, burning stuff to the ground. And things have been underway for a few days now. But this war is now in its next phase that I've been telling you all about for quite some time.
Okay, so a lot of the times, maybe what has hindered this is the ability of the Iranian people to communicate with one another about what is happening, whether there is an actual resistance in the next town over. We know that Elon Musk was trying to bring Starlink in there with not as much success as you would expect, but it sounds like maybe the word is out People are pissed. People are poor. People cannot feed their families. IRGC members and other military members are not being paid. Government officials are not being paid. All of this thing is culminating, and now the word is getting out and spreading the old-fashioned way, which is we're going to collapse these mother bleepers, and we're going to take this thing down.
So you'd never want your enemy to know that you have a communications ability.
Yes.
And they have had the ability to talk to one another and share things. What has held them back is not the comms piece. What has held them back is essentially CENTCOM saying it's not time yet. You're not going to get many opportunities at this. And so we're going to go down a checklist of conditions. And when they're all met, and we believe we've got the vulnerabilities exactly right for you, then you're going to go. And that's where we're sitting right now.
That's very interesting, and it makes perfect sense. We are in charge of the operation. We would certainly be communicating with those who would potentially assume power should this happen.
Mm-hmm.
So there are disparate groups in Iran that we have been communicating with. So essentially we are saying, hold on, we're softening them up. This is our game plan. And we will give you that trigger when you should move. Do you suppose that trigger has been pulled yet?
I think we're crossing that Rubicon right now. And this is what will happen is we'll keep them safe and blanket them in American air power the rest of the way through this thing. So when they are in Tehran and they want to take over a government building and they're like, wow, it's really hard, we just can't get it done. Just call CENTCOM. We'll have an F-16 over there and we'll drop your bomb 30 minutes or it's free. How about that?
And while you're at it, can you send a stuffed crust pizza with pepperoni? We don't do pork over here.
You want wings with that?
Yeah, we got a couple big old wings here. We got a couple and wings on a F-22 or the wings on a stealth bomber. By the way, I had the opportunity. I went down to the Grand Prix, and I saw that stealth flying over. And you know what's really funny? It looks like some kid flying a kite a couple miles out, and then it flies over you.
Yep. Freedom God. Doritos. That's what
it was. Something else. We saw some F-22s there as well. Okay, so now let me ask you this: you've got groups that have organization militarily who know how to handle the weapons, and then you have the population. Yeah. How is the population going to play a part in this overthrow without more mass slaughter, as the IRGC and the Ayatollah has been able to get away with the last 8 months?
It's a great question. Well, first off, the military capability of the IRGC and the Artesh has been decremented severely. The Basij, the police, secret police. But here's one of those last conditions that had to be met. You could have a great revolutionary force of insurgents ready to go, take this nation back, all of that stuff. But if the population doesn't believe in that this could be just another time again and we're all going to be slaughtered, they're not going to be with those revolutionaries. So what did Scott Bessent just do? He took that door that was creaked open just a little bit so he could see all the people money laundering, all 60 of them right there, and we're going to hear who they are real soon. And then he slammed that door shut, sealed it tight, money gone, and now the population is like, there's only one way out of this thing, and it's supporting those revolutionaries.
Who are these money launderers? Are you talking about in the higher echelon?
Banks, companies, or countries, all the ones he mentioned in his D-Day statement yesterday.
Yes.
So now that the money seal is in place, the population knows the only way out is with these revolutionaries and to take our country back.
All right, I want to continue the conversation on the other side of the break, and it will be flawless. I have a feeling it will be flawless. More with, and by the way, the first time that we've had General Blainholt on the show on camera, it is a real honor, as always. A good friend of the show and invaluable resource when it comes to things like this. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. WCBM. Here we go.
Gotta rejoin.
All right, good.
So you preferred your pronouns to be they and them. They, them. Okay. So, do you need me to explain how to use that? Nope, because I'm not going to.
And I'm going to tell you, for the rest of my life, if there's anyone in my life who had in their teens or 20s who decided they wanted me to use a pronoun or their parents use a pronoun of their choosing, you're going to have that the rest of your life, no matter what happens. You're going to be stuck with it because you fell for that nonsense. Joining us is, I would say, Newsmax Hotline, but he's not. He's on camera, ladies and gentlemen, the host of the Dangerous Intellectuals podcast, retired Brigadier General Blaine Holt. And we're hearing some things coming out of Iran that look like it looks like maybe the trigger has been pulled and we might see some freedom. Here is Scott Bessent, oddly enough, a general in this army in the defeat of the IRGC, giving a warning to the world about giving assistance to Iran.
From the U.S. dollar system, the clock just started ticking.
Wow. Now, you kind of referred to that just a moment ago, General Holt. That sounds like it was the trigger. Have you ever seen a Treasury Secretary who was used in such a fashion to put the icing on the cake of a military conflict?
He is so much more than a Treasury Secretary. And as you've heard me say before, he is... we are in a fifth-generation war. A fifth-generation war means war by all kinds of means. Everything is warfare. Yeah. Well, money is war. And it's not just here. Look at the reverse yen carry trade. Look at him buying the short-term paper, ending the counterfeiting of the Eurodollar or our dollars in the Eurodollar system. All those things are happening. Lloyd's of London, a monopoly blown up. So I want you to go back to yesterday. He talked about this being the D-Day. What better way to transmit to the revolutionaries in Iran? I'm telling you, it's D-Day, kids. And that's their message that, oh, it's revolution time. We must go now. That's exactly what he did. And he is the field general in this. And it's beautiful.
Beach. This is storming the beach, brother.
That's exactly what has happened. All the conditions have been met. They're weakened up. The money is covered. Everybody get going. The Kurds are moving in. The revolutionary groups are going forward. Pakistan was visiting a few days ago. I am guessing that might have been the terms of an exile deal for those who have enough money to get the hell out of there from the old regime. It doesn't really matter. The bad guys are on the run. This is a battlefield in a bigger global war called sovereigntists versus globalists.
You also got the UAE, the UAE cutting off trade with them. You've got
we're not doing that. We're out of OPEC. All of those things should add up in your brain.
It's hard to quantify this because all of our lives, Blaine, all of our lives, General, we have been wrapped up in this cluster bleep in the Middle East with OPEC having our balls in a vice. I'll just put it that way. And then Iran really running roughshod for 47 years around the globe with its tentacles of terror, committing thousands of acts of terror. We got just kind of used to it. Everything from Marine barracks bombings to roadside RPGs, etc., and acts of mass terror elsewhere. And now it's almost surreal. It's almost surreal to see this culmination of events. And as I look at it, I've had my moments of impatience with the president because I'm the kind of guy. Sure. I'm not a military guy like you. So my answer, unlike most, I think a lot of military, isn't just bomb the snot out of them. You got to bomb the snot out of them. You got to do all sorts of other stuff. And I got to tell you, this operation, despite all of the naysayers, including Chris Murphy saying it was a failure on day one, pretty artful.
Well, not just artful, but it's also getting at the adversary that we never talk about, and that is the City of London banksters. And that's what this war is really all about. Iran is just a part of this. And they have always played for hundreds of years both sides of every war. And that's why war is a racket, and all wars are bankers' wars. And we're all going to learn that now. And now I want us to all go back and look at everybody who is invested in, no, we have to have the army there. No, we have to do it this way.
Yes.
So this is a reckless endeavor. Everybody who was pushing back and all of Europe that was saying not using our bases, can't use our overflight, we're not going to be there with you. We're not going to share intel with you. I want everybody to go back and do the autopsy about what everybody said as we go through this thing called an American military victory, first since World War II. And I want you to go back and look at who said what to whom and how and why, and then find out what are their equities, what are their motivations, what is their role in this war, and what are they making? Because this war has been brilliant from hour one, and our grandkids now are no longer under the scourge of Armageddon psychopaths with nuclear weapons. We're going to have a thing called the Abraham Accords. We're going to have cheaper fuel and energy and prosperity. We're going to demilitarize our foreign policy. I can tell you, I've been to 20 years of worthless, endless war that nowhere.
I know you have.
And I as a strategist, I couldn't be happier. I could not be happier.
Brother, this is so big. I mean, you look at, we were in Afghanistan for 20 damned years.
Mm-hmm.
And
bodies flying off of my C-17s, the ones that I commanded, the ones that I was their commander, bodies flying off of those jets.
You flew our dead back to America.
Mm-hmm. Many times.
I bet you never, I mean, I can't even imagine what a solemn event that was in airspace for how many hours?
Yeah. Endless hours. And then for me, that first run was in a C-17 and the bombings out of Tanzania and Kenya. Do you remember those? The embassy victims that had to come back?
Yes.
And Madeleine Albright was with us and all of that. And, you know, you look back into that and then you go, none of that was necessary. None of it. And we need to go back and we need to analyze and have autopsies into all of it. But today we celebrate. Iran, go get your freedom.
Come on, baby. I love it. I love it. General Blaine Holt, brother, thank you so much. Your perspective is just really, I mean, no, you put it in perspective for us. And I predicted and I said when Donald Trump was president that freedom, patriotism, faith would sweep the globe. And I really do believe we are the reaction to the action of evil, brother. Evil's not going down easy. Evil's not going down easy. But my God, and let's just together say what an amazing effort by our military in a nearly flawless campaign. Absolutely brilliant.
Right.
Brilliant. They deserve a damn ticker tape parade in every city in America.
Amen.
All right, brother. Where can people find your glorious podcast?
Come to dangerousintellectuals.com, but now we're on YouTube at Dangerous Intellectuals, and the channel's ballistically taken off. I've got Melissa Siome on there to talk about the sovereigntists versus globalists fight in Ireland, which is going to be the first battleground, I would predict, of the civil wars that are coming to Europe.
All right, brother. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
Can you imagine, guys? I think many of you are probably my age. Probably some of you are older. Some are younger. 47 years of this bull crap. Oh, steel magnolia is not fried green tomatoes. You're right. You're right. Sorry, Bruce. Wow. It was a good interview, wasn't it? Wasn't that a great interview with Blaine Holt? That's worth reposting. Absolutely amazing. He knows. He knows what's happening. You're not going to get that perspective anywhere else. You're not going to get that perspective anywhere else. And if he says it's happening, then it's happening. Did you hear what he said? Did you listen to that interview? D-Day. He said D-Day for a reason. It was a signal. Wow. This is, I'm hoping and praying this is happening. Years. I'm just looking here, see what's coming up here. Apologize. I'm just trying to follow the news cycle here. See what's going on. I'm just trying to see. What a great interview with General Blaine Holt. We need to definitely isolate that interview and post it, because if there's anybody who would know what's going on with regard to what's happening in Iran, he would be the guy who knows it. I mean, really, really fascinating interview. And he mentioned that there was they called it Economic D-Day for a reason. And listen, I am a farm boy from Iowa. I'm an expert at a few things, but not everything. When I need expertise, I call on people like Blaine Holt and Doug Burns and Thane Rosenbaum and Gordon Chang and Brigitte Gabriel. I call on experts for that, because I can't know everything. Rush Limbaugh was the same way. F. Lee Levin was Mark Levin. Mark Levin was who he turned to for all of his understanding of Supreme Court precedent, et cetera. I'm not saying that Rush Limbaugh didn't know it like the back of his hand, but he had experts helping him out a little bit too. I prefer to have my experts on the air. And wouldn't it be something if this economic D-Day was a signal to those who have been waiting for the word from CENTCOM to move and take over the country? Wouldn't that be something else? Wouldn't that be something else? I remember the fall of the Berlin Wall. I remember a year later seeing Gorbachev speak at Westminster University and seeing the Berlin Wall and seeing the one side covered with brilliant colored graffiti and the other side gray and dank and stained. And it was a metaphor for the former Soviet Union versus the freedom of West Germany and the West. And I think it was only 24, 25 years old when I saw that. And, you know, we're seeing this around the world. In Washington, D.C., when I moved here, it was gray and spray painted and homeless encampments and crime. And now it's a beautiful, gleaming city. It's absolutely beautiful and gleaming. Let's pray for the freedom of the people of Iran, that it shall spread throughout the Middle East, and we'll see a millennial peace. And Jews and Arabs can live together, and peaceful Islamists, not Islamists, but those who follow Islam, can live together. We're witnessing history. God bless you. America's founded. Our troops, our president, and until tomorrow, which by the grace of God is Wednesday, do not catch the stupid. God bless you, Dolly. You are amazing.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.